Chris here with a e-bike that doesn't look like an e-bike, does it? Now this is the Vanpowers Vanture. The reason it doesn't look like an e-bike is, well, it's got a design that really is quite stealth-like for e-bikes. So it's a modular frame setup and you've got individual parts. But you'd think that maybe it wouldn't be as strong. In fact, it's the other way around. It's a lot stronger like this. It's a really solid, good build. It doesn't even rattle at all too in my time testing it out. So the bike has a Gates carbon belt for its drivetrain. That means we've got no gears. It's a single speed setup here, but you have no maintenance with this, of course. You don't have to worry about oiling a chain. You don't have the derailleur that gets out of alignment if you accidentally drop the bike. You get the idea. And these belts go for just about 30,000 kilometers without any maintenance needed whatsoever. So we have a motor that's in the rear hub that's 250 watts if you've got the EU version, which I have here, limited to 25 kilometers per hour. If you're lucky enough to be in the US, you get the US model, which is a little more powerful. It is 350 watts. So that battery that is in the frame right here, it takes around about 2 hours, 2.5 hours to fully charge, and it's 7 amp hours, which they claim can give us a range of up to 80 kilometers, which is very good. So the bike is just 34 pounds or 15.5 kilos for an e-bike. That is lightweight, and it does have very good brakes on it. Brand brakes too. They're from TechTablets, 180 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes that do work very well. The bike has a color screen that's very clear. You can see your battery life, and we have 5 pedal assist levels too with this to aid us when you're pedaling. Now it does use a speed sensor that's in the rear hub, so not the normal crank one, and it only takes about 1 or 2 kilometers or so before it detects your pedaling and then kicks in and gives you that assist that you need. This e-bike uses 700C size tyres. They are from Kenda, so brand tyres, and they are their K-West model. The frame size is 21 inches or 53 centimeters, and it caters for riders 170 centimeters tall to 190 centimeters, and the maximum rider weight 120 kilos. The Vanture does come with reflectors on the rear and the wheels, but it does not include any built-in LED headlights or tail lights, which is a little disappointing. The brakes are good on this e-bike. They're from TechTablets, so 180 millimeter hydraulic disc brakes. The levers do feel very good, and the handlebars have lock grips, so these grips are not going to spin around on you. Other brand components include a Sally Royale seat, which is quite soft. It's comfortable. It's not the softest, there's no suspension in it, but for a road style city bike, it's not too bad. And we do have well-go pedals. Our trip computer, well, this is quite a clear screen. It's color. We've got our 5 pedal assist levels. And if you press the M button, the mode button, you can cycle through the maximum speed, average speed, and your current speed. There is also a battery gauge. So each one of those bars represents 20% battery. The cabling with this e-bike is internally routed, so it looks quite clean, and our charge port here has a rubber gasket over it. The charge time of the 7 amp hour battery is around about 2 hours, 2.5, which is quite quick. Now, one thing I really love about this bike or any e-bike is the fact that it does not rattle. There are no rattles on this bike, and if a bike doesn't rattle, well, it gets a huge thumbs up from me. That's a sign to me of quality in the build and also the assembly. Another stunning day here in Denia, perfect for testing out e-bikes. So the Vanture, how does it ride? Well, let's find out. So the frame size is about like an owl. Now I'm 184 centimeters tall. I don't find it to be too bad at all. I mean, I've got plenty of room. The handlebars are a little closer in for me, but look where my knees are. My knees are not in the way, so I've got no issues with me like striking the handlebar here. So it does cater for heights, they say up to 190 centimeters. So the rider position, you are leaning down a little bit, but it's not too bad. I'm not getting a sore back or anything. You're not super upright like you are with the bikes that had the swept back handlebars. Now the speed sensor, it kicks in really quick, only about 2-3 kilometers, and that's it, you're away. And it's very smooth power delivery. In fact, you don't even hear that motor really. The bike rolls really well. And under your own pedal power, it's not hard to get it up to 25-30 kilometers per hour. So I'll go into level 5 now, that's the top boost. I can maybe just hear the motor a little, but it's very quiet. It's a really smooth, and of course the drivetrain being that Gates carbon belt, very smooth. You don't hear any noise from chains or gears, of course, because, well, we don't have that. It's just a belt, which is very smooth. How does it climb then with this steady little small climb? So not a problem here. I'm in power assist level 5, called the boost mode. I'm going up this with relative ease. I have to pedal a little bit, but it's not too bad. However, I'm going to get onto the steep climb, which is 25 degrees. We'll see how it fares there. Remember, there are no gears. It's just a single speed. How about the bike's top speed? Well, I'm going to pedal as hard as I can now. See what kind of speeds I can get up to. It's geared enough that, with a gear ratio, that I can get up to about 32, 33 quite comfortably on the flat. Still plenty of room to pedal, and then downhill a little now, easily get it up to 40, 41. So I'm giving the bike a bit of a head start here. I'm in the level 5 boost pedal assist. Going up this okay so far, but it is getting steeper, and I'm definitely having to put a lot more effort in now. I feel like I need to change down a gear, but of course it's just a single speed. Oof, this is hard going. So this is the weakness of the bike. If you've got very steep climbs, you're going to get fit, because you have to put quite a bit of effort in. So I need to stand up now and power up this hill, and you can trust that carbon gates belt, because it's not going to slip. And my braking test now, so emergency brake test from 30 kilometers per hour, 1, 2, 3 now. Whoa, good, but it's very easy to lock up that rear wheel. But excellent brakes on here from TechTablets, 180 millimeter, one of the best stoppers in terms of performance that I've tested out. So when you want to stop on this stop sign, not a problem. You can brake when you want. They're very good brakes, apply a lot of pressure, and overall, some of the best braking performance I've tested in an e-bike lately. Now, what about that battery life? So for my use here with a few climbs, and I do weigh 82 kilos, I am losing 1 battery bar per 11-12 kilometers or so. So it's looking very good, the range. It's going to be around about 50 kilometers to 60 kilometers, I think, for most people. Now, do bear in mind that when you start to ride over the speed limit, you're not using the battery, you're not using the motor at all, and you're going on your own pedal power. And the way it is geared, I can happily pedal along around 30 kilometers, 32, 33, 34 kilometers per hour on the flat here at a good speed and maintain that, like a typical road bike. It rolls really well. It's very fast because of the 700C wheels that it does have, and the tires, of course, being road tires. They're not knobbly tires, good rolling resistance with them. Braking performance, one of the best that I've recently tested out, because we have large hydraulic brakes, brand brake pads too as well, so they bite in really well. After the initial beating in period of approximately 15-20 kilometers, I've got the full braking performance, and they are very good. It's quite easy to lock up the rear. It's almost like we've got the disc is a little too large there, being 180 millimeters. I'll probably end up going with 160, 180 on the front. They do so with other brakes, but no, it is very good in terms of brakes. So the weakness of this bike, what is it? Well, you probably guessed it, and that is it's a single speed setup. So we don't have any gears. So climbing performance can be a bit of a challenge. When you're going up very steep climbs, you need to pedal a lot, put a lot of effort into it, because you don't have those gears. It'll certainly be a bike, if you've got a lot of steep climbs around where you're going to be riding, that'll get you fit. So if you don't have steep climbs, you ride mostly in the city, it's going to be perfect for that. So overall, it's a really good bike, and it gets a big thumbs up from me for having absolutely no rattle whatsoever. So thank you for watching my review here of the Vanpowers Vanture e-bike.